Hi and welcome to One Week at a Time. My name's Brett Burden, and over the last few weeks I've been doing some road shows and industry evenings, talking to many different groups. And one of the things that's come to light over that period is how much people want to know or need to know about this, about marketing. Before I get into that area, and I'm going to spend the next couple of weeks on this actually, and I'll probably only scratch the surface then, but we'll try and get into some detail and give you some ideas about what you need to do, what you need to be finding out about your marketing and who you are and so on. But just to explain this here, and probably the best way to explain this would be for you to go back and have a look at one of the very early videos I did in One Week at a Time called The Four Spheres. And it actually goes into those four areas of business, being leadership, operations, marketing and finance. And often people, when I present this, often people get really feeling overwhelmed with the amount of information and knowledge that they have to gain. And I certainly understand that, but you know, no area here is any more important than the other. So it is important that you understand, have a really good knowledge of what's expected from these areas. But that's really all you need to know is what's the expectation. You don't need an accounting degree or a marketing degree to be able to run a business. All you need is an understanding of the output of these areas. What's your expectation? What do you need to see coming from these areas to ensure that that's actually working for you, not against you? That way, of course, you can delegate these areas onto people who have the knowledge and have the degrees, but still be aware of how your business is operating and whether you're reaching targets and so on. So you don't need to know all this stuff. In fact, if you do, it's more than likely going to hold your business back. Delegate it. Like we talked about last week in last week's video about delegation. We really need to just understand what these areas are. Okay, so marketing. Marketing is said to be two things, and communication and education. So in regards to communication, how we communicate who we are is via every single thing that we do. Okay, so our signage, whether it's on the cars or on the building or on job sites, for example, our website, email signatures, it even comes down to those tiny little things that some people often forget about or don't really take much notice of. Our uniforms, the way we present ourselves or the way we dress, is our dress appropriate for the type of business that we're doing? Stationery, voicemail message is really, really important. In fact, the way we answer the phone is incredibly important. I remember just a short story. It was only a few weeks ago. I needed to call an organisation, and this organisation's marketing and website and everything about them was all professional. Even their USP was talking about their professionalism. And when I rang and asked for Dave, the person I was after, the lady on the other end of the phone, as delightful as she was, and she was very nice, I was a little amazed at just how she went about getting Dave on the phone for me, because she actually just put her hand over the mouthpiece of the phone and said, "Dave, it's Brett Burden on the phone. Can you speak to him?" And if their USP was no nonsense or fast and efficient, you could accept that. But the fact that it was about professionalism, it just didn't ring right. It just didn't ring true, and it just put a little doubt in my mind at that time. And it doesn't need to be much. And the truth is, the organisation could have been a really professional organisation, but it's about perception, isn't it? It's about what we see and what we believe, not about reality necessarily. So it's really important that everyone who is communicating to your audience are communicating in the way that you need them to communicate, the way you want them to communicate. It's also about how we communicate our culture, and that was, for me, that was a misalignment in the communication. So what I want you to have a think about this week is how you go communicating everything that you do. If you've got signage on your vehicles, you've got vehicles out in the road, and you've got employees driving those things, then boy, it's so important that they understand the importance of how they drive affects your business. So you need to make sure you're sitting down and talking with people and really educating them around what your expectations are. Okay, so have a think about this. Have a look at all of the way you communicate to your audience. Is it the same? Is it all saying the same thing? Are you congruent with the message that you're trying to get out there? So that's all for this week. Next week we'll talk about, as I said, there's two areas: the way we communicate and the way we educate. So next week we'll talk a little bit about how we educate. Have a great week. We'll talk again soon. Bye for now.